Good evening, Ghana. Welcome to Minority Caucus once again. It's a Monday evening, and yes, we are here today to tell you what is really happening in the state of Ghana. Today, I call it the 5 for 5 edition of Minority Caucus because the guests I have in the studio are full of fire. Who am I talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Anthony Cabo, National Youth Organizer of the MPP. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And then Samuel Ewuku, Deputy Director of Communications for the MPP and my boss. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what really is happening in Ghana today? Today we're discussing the issues as they pertain in Ghana today, bothering around corruption in Ghana, and then really the state of the nation, Ghana. Where really are we going? We started this topic somewhere last week, and then today we are really trying to bring, some clarity to the issues that exist. Really. But before I go there, you may have heard Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. What really happened to him? What are the circumstances and what actually is going on? I'll put that question to Anthony Cabo for him to answer for me, boss.
Well, I would want to say a very big thank you and good evening to your cherished viewers. I know this program is the love program of many MPP supporters across the country and across the world who are always very actively glued to their TV sets to listen to the dispassionate analysis that we make. And so I want to also commend you and your team for holding the fort on this program right through the time of its inception, through the elections, and even till now. You're doing a great job. Well, in the matter of Dr. Bawumia, I guess that the country woke up to that realization that the Honorable Flag Bearer Deputy, in fact, running mate of our presidential candidate was involved in a near-fatal accident, and the circumstances are yet to be unraveled. Many have provided different perspective of exactly what happened. But I do know that the running mate, as part of his working tour, was visiting a couple of the regions. He was in Tamale, he was in Kumasi, he was in Sunyani, he was in Bolga. And of course, the Bolewura is a very important chief, very close to the running mate. And so he decided that once his funeral was happening along the time that he was there, it was necessary for him to show his last respect and also to commemorate the new installation of the Bolewura. Now, after that particular event, and he moved his vehicle 20 minutes on, after the drive, two tires blast at the same time, bizarre circumstances, and led to that near fatal accident. He came out of the car very, very okay. He didn't have any difficulties. His driver, his bodyguard, and his press aide, Komina Bwedu, who sustained little fractions, because of the nature of the crash, and so far they've all been discharged, looked after, But of course, a few things happened in the process. I believe the General Secretary of the party has dealt adequately with the matter, and I think we want to leave it there. But be it as it may, I think that Dr. Bawumia is in good condition. We use this platform to let everybody in the country know that Mahmoud is in very good shape. His driver, his bodyguard, his personal aide, everybody discharged. We went over, had a chat with him early this morning. He's in very good stead. He's woken up and he's okay. I think he's very okay. And so those are the facts as it is, as it is for us now. And I think that we want to thank the Ghanaian people for the prayers, party supporters for their prayers, and the entire friends and family who have shown a lot of not condolences in that respect, but who have shown a lot of concern in these times of difficulties, especially with his family and all those who matter in this matter. The flag bearer of the party has been very disturbed about this situation, but I'm sure by now he's very confident that everything is well with Dr. Bawumia. The party leadership and all those people who also went to visit him have seen clearly that what we are putting out to the general public is a true facts and is it as it is. So those are the issues.
Thank you very much. Now, Samuel, I just want you to address your mind to this. When you hear of such incidences, considering the kind of work that we do, how do you feel about it? The ever-present danger.
Well, first of all, let me also say good evening to your cherished viewers and also to commend you and your production team for the wonderful work that you've been doing for the party and for the country. First of all, let me also state that courage rises with danger. We are up against an evil empire, so ruthless and vindictive that these guys would not mind even spending a quarter of our GDP to eliminate political opponents. That has been the stock in trade of this particular government and the NDC. I'm particularly worried that there seems to be a growing trend. Cabo has had his fair share of some of these stuff. I've had my fair share of it. We've had most of our people, Kandapa and all that. Also, since our court case started, we've had a series of events. First, our coalition center got attacked by a group supposedly being the coming from the national security and some military, elements within the military outfit. Stormed our coalition center at gunpoint, took away some documents and all that, tampered with evidence that we had. Then afterwards, you also had Gloria Ekufo, the coordinator of our legal team for the petitioners. Also had her office burgled, and still, though we lost some few documents, we still believe that, well, we're able to save enough to prosecute our case in court. Then you had the Honorable Jacob Ejepilamte, the national chairman of the MPP, also having his car tie, that got bust at the same location that had Dr. Baumia's facing his predicament. So there seems to be a growing trend. But I strongly believe that none of these things will intimidate the NPP as a political entity, nor the petitioners in court. We believe we're fighting for a good cause. No amount of these stuff will going to derail us. We are strong and committed towards ensuring that justice is delivered. Justice Theodore Meron, the first International Court of Justice judge, said that you cannot sacrifice peace for justice because they go hand in hand. And we believe that it's in the spirit of this and looking at our current socio-economic condition that we have resolved in our minds and hearts that challenges will come. Some may look unsurmountable, but at the end of the day, we'll prevail because the good Lord will take us through it and make sure that the Ghanaian people at least get smiles on their faces again. So the dangers are always there. Some are present, some are imminent, some are future. And as a politician in this part of our world, where you have an evil empire that can constitute itself into a government, obviously you should expect that you will face some of these things day in, day out.
Okay. Now, that's very interesting, but I like the fact that, we've been given very strong assurances that none of this is going to intimidate any one of us. Now, let's come to the present circumstances. As all of this is happening, Ghana finds itself at a particular, stage where teachers are on strike. There's dumso in the economy. Right now, it's no longer called dumso, it's called dundumso, among other things. What do you really make of all of these situations now? Cabo.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you want us to say, but what we are seeing is the product of an NDC government. The problems that this country is being engulfed with, fuel shortage, fuel increment, tariffs adjustment upwards, salaries of workers, confusion here, confusion there. All these are as a result of their own governance in the last 4 years. I think that there's no other place, because many a times when some of these things happen, people are tempted, like we saw in the last 4 years of the Mills administration and Mahama administration. We saw a lot more of the blame put at the doorstep of the opposition because they are just taking over government, and so it was natural for them to blame, to look for solace in blaming the MPP in everything that happened. But today we are seeing it. President Mahama hands over to himself, inherits the problems that they have created as a result of their management of the economy. We are seeing our deficit balloon to absurd levels. The Nigerian finance minister visit to Ghana raised concerns about the economy. We are seeing, the fact that subsidies are being withdrawn on many fronts of the economy. Taxes adjustments are going up. We are told, and these are the same strategies they put in place when they took over the administration in 2009. So I keep asking myself, what has changed monumentally between the 4 years of Mahama and Mills and now this new 4-year tenure, which has been renewed by the Ghanaian people, still contested by the MPP anyway, or, in the matter of these issues. And it only clearly tells you that, look, our budget has been overspent in the last year, the 2012 budget, which was presented by Dufour. I remember him coming and assuring the Ghanaian people of government's fiscal discipline in terms of holding down government expenditure so that we don't have the situation that we have. But NADMO overspends 300 million. Ministry of Sports overspends 300 million. Combine all of that, it gives you a huge amount of 600 million cedis that have been spent in the last 3 months. And that is the reason why we're having this economic overhang. I remember some of the terms that the NDC were using, the newly appointed Deputy Minister of Information, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, and the NDC propaganda secretary at the time, in fact, Fifi Kwete. They were telling us our economy was an intensive care unit. The economy needed very serious surgeons to operate upon it. And today, the same indicators that gave them that conclusion are the same things that we are seeing currently in light of our economy. It's even gone bonkers, let me put it that way, quote unquote. It's gone totally bonkers. The economy is struggling. Government's expenditure is huge. Government has overspent. Businesses are struggling. The poor cannot get themselves together. All the social intervention programs that the Kufuor administration put in place are in total shambles. The NHIS, you remember when the Oxfam report came out and we were raising issues about the sustainability financially of the NHIS, the NDC took us to the cleaners. They insulted the flag bearer, insulted members of the MPP, claiming that we didn't know what we were talking about. Nana Kufuor needs to be educated on the workings of the NHIS. All sorts of gibberish, quote unquote, were put out, you know, ostensibly to put us away and make sure that they win the public debate. You told about the fact that the single spine salary structure had ballooned the country's wage bill. They used it as a political tool, went on the rampage, claimed that workers were okay. 3 months down the lane, we are seeing labor agitations emerging in our economy, clearly telling you that there was a huge overhang financially of the economy. And this is a classical example of the recklessness. This is a classical example of the ineffective leadership. This is a classical example of the confused leadership that we are seeing clearly. And I think that is why Ghanaians are in the kind of situation that we are in. The corruption in all of this, there is something that we call the cabal corruption that is going on at the NDC is very scary.
Okay. Now we'll come to that. But something, you have also presented very, you know, I find it insightful, you know, means behind all of what is going on in this country today. What really do you think?
Well, Nana, you see, what we're witnessing today is the fruit of what the NDC did so in 2009. John Dramani Mahama stated emphatically when we lost President Mills that he was the luckiest vice president. He said he was given the opportunity to run a whole country. He said run the economy, preside over meetings, chair the police council, in charge of the Ghana Armed Forces. More or less, we all do know that Mills had a situation and a condition. So he was unable to perform to satisfaction. And so I wasn't too much surprised when Mahama said that. So you had Mahama, just as Cabo said, handing over to himself in 2013, 7 January. Then he tells us that the economy that he claims he ran it effectively, because the NDC, when they were campaigning, said the economy was robust, very strong. Ghana's economy now is comparable to even the Asian tigers. They said all this flowery stuff. Then you hand over to yourself your first State of the Nation address. You tell us that, in fact, the meat there, we've consumed it and it's left with the bones. So who did consume it? When you were busily doling out state funds from the public purse to cronies of the administration in the name of judgment debt, you never knew that it was the meat that you were chewing. Today, while we have erratic power supply, unreliable power supply, water being rationed, we also do have gas shortage. Today, gas is the latest addition to the precious minerals. If you're looking for gas to buy, you have to comb the length and breadth of the city and the country before you can get access to it. In the northern part of the country, shortage of fuel left, right, center. Also, you have high cost of living in this country. Almost everything is on the ascendancy, an increase. In all this, there is a relation, in fact, a positive relationship between inflation and interest rate. It's only in the NDC's book and theory of economics that the relationship between inflation and interest rate seem to be inversely proportional. I tell you what, when the NDC inherited an economy of 40% inflation, the interest rate at that time was also in its 30s. When we reduced inflation up to 18%, down to 18%, you also had the interest rate also reducing to close to 23, 24%. It makes sense. These people, they are telling us that today,
Inflation is low, yet interest rates are high. Check the treasury bills. The interest on treasury bills it should reflect the economy. 27, 28. And mind you, treasury bill is more or less the government borrowing from you indirectly. If the government is going to borrow from the same market with the private entity, the government has the muzzle to muzzle you out. In all this, we are made to believe that Ghana is on track. In a rare occasion, you have Ghana's donor partners telling the president in the face that our economy has a problem. We're telling them here, they never took it serious. And Nana, you see, in the midst of all this, we are being made to pay for the luxurious and vulgar display of opulence of the Mahama and Misatha administration. I'm always uncomfortable toward the Misatha because he is lost in the system. So he is already more or less, you let me just end there. You let me just end that one there. Then in the midst of all this, you have the government telling us that they want to sponsor a trip to Israel.
If you hold on for me at that point, I'll take a break now. And when we come back, we'll delve into that matter.
Right.
Welcome back to Minority Caucus. Today we're discussing a myriad of issues that face Ghana. And I have in the studio Samuel Ewuko, Deputy Communications Director of the NPP, as well as Mr. Anthony Cabo, Youth Organizer of the NPP, the firebrand of the youth. And yes, today is about a depiction that the NPP really does believe in the youth. We work with the youth. We are rather more about competence. And so if you are competent, if you are very well able to do everything that you're expected to do, come on, join the NPP and we will make it work for you. Samuel Ewuko, before we went on the break, you were just about getting to the very controversial matter of the 2 million stroke $600,000.
We woke up this morning to news that Elvis Efiankra is saying that it wasn't 2 million but $600,000. Let me even work with that figure, $600,000. That is equivalent to close to 12 billion of the old cities.
12 billion.
And 12 billion even injected into our economy means we can subsidize even these fuel prices. You see, first of all, this gesture is unsolicited. The Christian groups never went to the government to demand for support. In fact, in the doctrines of the Christendom family or Christianity, there's nowhere that it states that going to Israel should be one of the pillars of the religion. So if you want to compare that to that of the Muslims or the Islamic religion, then you are even beginning to argue based on false premise. So if moving beyond that, then you have the government writing to churches to bring people. The Catholic Church flatly rejected it. The Ghana Pentecostal Council flatly rejected it. And in fact, the charismatic churches also rejected that. Then you had the people who used to pray for the president saying that, look, even if these churches they've all abandoned you, we can get some foot soldiers and dress them like priests and take them to Israel. $600,000. I heard Fred Agbenyo this morning on radio and I felt bad for him. He's a very good friend. I felt so bad for him. Fred is telling us that, you know, there's something criminal with what even Elvis Efiankra did. It's very criminal. It's a serious offense. Until he was appointed the Minister for Youth and Sports, Elvis was the Deputy Local Government Minister. The State Protocol Department is under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So by extension, his area does not extend to the State Protocol Department.
Yeah.
So for him to go for the State Protocol Department's letterhead, use it to write a letter, meaning he's misrepresenting himself to the people.
Fraud?
Yes, it's a clear case of fraud. Because if you're saying that he is a coordinator, you signed it as a coordinator when it wasn't the State Protocol Department that was organizing the trip. If it was the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, that's a different matter. The sector minister or any of his deputies or the chief director can write that letter. Now, Agbenyo says that he only stated he was a coordinator because that time he had not been appointed.
Elvis was appointed on the 17th of January as Minister Designate for Youth and Sports. The letter was written on the 15th of February. So meaning even Agbenyo doesn't know when Elvis was appointed. And that is, you see, when you tell a lie, you have to tell about 8 different lies to cover one lie. For me, I take serious exception to what he did. What he did is nothing different from what Muntaka did. Because Muntaka, Mel said, was misrepresentation. Muntaka misrepresented a lady to an embassy, that the lady was working with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Elvis misrepresented himself as working with the Foreign Ministry or the State Protocol Department. It's a clear case of fraud and forgery. And for a Minister of State to even indulge himself in that, in elsewhere, in other jurisdictions, should have even lost his position in government. But here in Ghana, especially with this government, they adore mediocrity and hail things like that. You see, when we were kids, we all do know that, and as has been said by people, that Jerusalem and Nazareth were places in heaven. But growing up and with orientation, we've all come to understand that those places are just like Nima, also on earth. Like you have East Legon on earth. Like you have Tonga on earth. And also having Malata also on earth, just like Nazareth is on earth. But these, and Sukura, all on earth. But these government officials, they still think that those places are in heaven. And the God we serve is an omnipresent God.
Because you see, Pat says Jerusalem is not a heaven.
Absolutely, not only him. Even you've had Apostle Onyina, the head of the Pentecostal church in Ghana, saying the same thing. So this government, I don't really get it. You see, let me read a paragraph to you before Cabo comes in. Ghana Integrity Initiative. They have said, use funds for Israeli pilgrimage to provide essential needs instead. Ghana Integrity Initiative. Let me read a paragraph to you. Say, Ghana is currently facing many developmental challenges reflected in inadequate infrastructure, poor water supply, unreliable energy system, a failing school system, and inadequate healthcare delivery, among many others. The National Health Insurance Scheme has virtually collapsed and has consistently failed to pay service providers, including the Christian Association of Healthcare Providers. You see, when you have a government that from day one, all they want is always populism, and they cannot extend that from the corridors of the Paloma headquarters to the Christian religion. Already they have denigrated the religion enough, painting the picture males overthrew Jesus Christ in heaven by, getting seated at the right-hand side of God. Aside that, they've even tried to even equate him to Jesus as Prince of Peace. We have kept quiet and watched them, but we will not sit down for them to also doctor the doctrines of the church.
Okay. Cabo, I want you to speak on this particular matter, on the misapplication or misdirection of government priorities. But then I want you also to add this issue of SADA and the allocation in the budget for 2013.
Well, just to add to what my brother Awuku has just put out. In fact, he catalogued the point that has been made by the Ghana Integrity Initiative. And I'm very excited, that the Ghana Integrity Initiative is living up to this expectation, that we expect that a body which is talking about transparency, integrity, and all of that will come out boldly to tell government that, look, what they are doing is not right. The challenges that have been faced by this economy. NHIS is in a near collapse. School fees are shot up. Cost of living has gone up. The energy crisis we're having, water shortages. Look, my brother, the question I've been asking after I heard this is, this is the height of insensitivity by any government. Nobody is against the going of Jerusalem. Ghanaians have traveled to Jerusalem. People go to Jerusalem on a private visit. That's okay. Okay? But in the time when this economy is struggling, and in the words of the president himself, the economy is down to the bone. And like Samuel Wuku metaphorically explained, they have finished eating the meat and is left with the bones. My brother, it's not the taking of priests or pastors to Israel or Jerusalem that will fix this economy, that will bring down our deficit. The deficit, bringing down the deficit, takes economic planning. It means putting your brains to the wheel, applying your intellect, getting people who are experienced, who can really deal with this economic issue. The problems that we're having in education, the problems that we're having with energy, the problems that we're having with our health system, the problems that we're having with corruption. It's not prayers that fix those issues. If it is prayer, then America should have been the biggest patronage of Jerusalem. They would have been going there to pray. But let me tell you something. Most of those advanced economies, people don't even believe in God. They apply their brains. To create jobs for people, you don't need to pray to God. God has given us all that it takes for us to fix this economy. He doesn't need us to go to Jerusalem to get it. Kufuor didn't go to Jerusalem, okay, to get the knowledge that he got to come and fix NHIS. Kufuor was a humble Catholic, going to his church on Sunday and prayed to the good God, and God gave him the blessing right here in Ghana. He didn't have to go anywhere, okay? This road network that Kufuor expanded, did he go to God? Did he go to Jerusalem to pray? You see, so you are seeing a situation where the government clearly is not prioritizing its needs, and I'm happy that the Ghana Integrity Initiative has come out with this issue and the manner in which this whole issue has been dealt with. I heard the NDC General Secretary claiming that the NDC as a party hasn't sent anybody abroad. But do they think we are small children? If the NDC wants to do that, does the NDC send people to Mecca? As a party, do they send people to Mecca? Do they? So why does he think that today he should be asking us this question? It clearly doesn't make sense. This government is desperate to cover up this issue, and I'm happy that people who are true men of God, people who really believe in the word of God, have rejected this offer. And this is the first time I am seeing a Christian pilgrimage being organized, and the major churches, traditional churches, okay, the Pentecostal Council has spoken. They said that, look, to hell with this issue. We think it's very insensitive. The Catholics have come out, who have contributed immensely to this country. They said they cannot be part of this. They don't think that they have to travel to be able to fix this country or pray for this country. So you see that the NDC clearly has misprioritized its needs and issues that they should deal with, in fact, in respect of the Ghanaian people. Now, when you move and put that aside, I think that we should call for very thorough investigation into this matter. The Ghanaian people are totally incensed. They are telling us about some philanthropies. My brother, philanthropies again? We don't even want to hear the issue of philanthropy. The same Wyoming who was touted as a philanthropist who paid for people to go to South Africa, eventually, not knowing that the Ghanaian taxpayer, they had released $51 million into his account. Of course, if you are giving $51 million, why wouldn't you do such a thing? And in the churches that we attend, all those philanthropists who make donations to the church, don't they come out? Don't we see them? If these churches indeed a philanthropy, why wouldn't he give the money to the churches? How come government is writing letters? And I think that the minister has not spoken quite well on this matter. He needs to come back again. Now, moving to SADA, I believe many people in the north are watching. And they know that the difficulties that we are having with our country is because, you know, the widening gap between the north and the south. And if you check, the NDC made a catalog of promises in 2009. They didn't put any money into SADA. In 2010, in their own budget, they said they had put in 25 million. In 2011, they said they had put another 25 million. In 2012, they have put 30 million. And in this year's budget, it is another meager 30 million. My brother, after sinking all this money, the poverty in our country, the poverty in the north is so unbearable. It's shameful that today, even NADMO, okay, NADMO is claiming that disaster areas that have been declared, Yendi, Gushegu, and Myong, they don't even have money to deal with those matters. So, Damwa, we are in very serious crisis now. I believe that the people of the north who know that, yes, indeed, this president is supposed to be of northern extraction, and so, for which reason, the north should get greater attention. We are not seeing that. And I had made this point very early that, look, I know Mahama cannot deliver as far as northern development is concerned. There's no way, because the entire program, the entire framework for the Savannah Development Authority was totally misfired. It was copied. It was hardly done. They didn't have any structure. Look, you cannot point to one infrastructure development in the north to say that this is a SADA project. They whisked in the run-up to the election some 100 tractors, Mahindra tractors, in fact, inferior tractors for that matter. Many of the farmers have rejected these tractors and have come to Kumasi and Ejura to buy these Ferguson and DAF, which are strong second-hand. Those are the ones that they prefer to work with. And all these distribution, you can go to any farm and see any of that in there. So clearly, we are seeing massive corruption. They have also told us about another $61 million that have been sunk in tree planting. My brother, how do you plant trees in a desert? People who depend, our people in the north, depend on these trees for charcoal. Gas is gone up. How many people can buy gas over there? So until we address those issues, and they are talking about the ecological zone, when the people are depending on, this for firewood, bush burning is not even being able to control. They can't control it. The Ghana National Fire Service is reeling under a lot of pressure up north anytime we are in the dry season. How do they factor all these things in? And so we are not seeing our way clearly in terms of some of these matters. And I think that the people of the north must agitate seriously over some of these matters. And some of us are going to take this initiative personally so that we can raise the issue of northern development. We can bring to bear the issues of corruption that we are seeing in SADA. All these consultants who have been paid, contracts have been issued, no one sees the work that has been done. You go to Tamale, you go to Wa, you go to the northern part of the Volta region, you go to parts of the Brong-Ahafo region, which we are told are part of the catchment areas, and nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. SADA, they are making a lot of noise about it. You see absolutely nothing is happening in the area. And so we have a serious problem at hand. And I think that we need sober heads, and then we need to get this court case out of the way. Nana Akufo-Addo has to be, by the end of this court proceedings, we are very confident that he would be declared president of the republic, and so we can move on with the Northern Development Authority, one that has specific investments. They claim that they are going to put all this money they have put into investments. What investments have we seen? There hasn't been any substantial investment on the ground. There hasn't been any major road construction. President Mills,
which cannot work,
the share nut country, let me get this thing very clear, Damwa. The share nut company that they are talking about, it's not a government initiative. It's not a government initiative. It is not a product of SADA. This company, Produce Buying Company, existed. And a private man invests, set up a company, and then suddenly it becomes a SADA project. Any other thing, they put down, what do you call it, a borehole today, they say SADA. They renovate a classroom, they say SADA. So what is government doing? What is government doing? President Mills went around cutting the source for many of these trunk roads in the north. The Wa, Heng, Tumu Road, Navrongo was supposed to have been constructed. Nothing is happening on the road. Meanwhile, they've captured it in the budget as one of their priority road constructions that they have done. Nothing is happening. The Eastern Corridor Road that is supposed to go to, what do you call it? Bole, not even Bole. Bole is even one side of the road. We're talking about Bimbila, Damanko, Yendi, Cherpone, that entire stretch, the Eastern Corridor stretch, which we are told under the Chinese loan will come on stream, is on hold. Work is not going on in those areas. And so there are many, many problems. Northerners are gradually becoming incensed with this big talk about SADA. It is talk, blah, 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 one seminar here, one seminar there, as if we are here to diagnose the problem of northern development. I think what is needed in the north is proper investments. What is needed in the north is opening up the infrastructure. What is needed in the north, it is huge investment in agriculture, because majority of the people in those parts of the regions depend on agriculture. Agriculture is the mainstay of the people. And I think that government and the fulcrum of government policy must focus on those areas. But what we are seeing is just a cacophony of budget allocations that are being made. We don't see how the money is being spent. And so I would call on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Local Governance to really look at this issue, call the SADA board to account for all the money that has gone into SADA so far, so that we can measure to see whether indeed there is some progress that is being made, or it is money that is being wantonly and disrespectfully spent on things that are not necessary.
Okay, so Anthony Cabo says that it is nothing but a cacophony of budget allocations. We'll take another break, and when we come back, you can join the discussion. Welcome back to Minority Caucus. So you can join this discussion on 030-2211-701-4. I'll repeat the number, 030-2211-701-4. But before we take our call, something you had something interesting to say on Saturday.
This was SADA thing. They were supposed to have given 200 million Ghana cedis as a seed money, and then a yearly sum of 100 million Ghana cedis. So if they had been fulfilling those promises, by now we should have had 600 million
going to SADA up north. They have not fulfilled even half or a quarter of that promise. But as we speak, they were able to chop 600 million cedis in excess at the presidency from October to December, just 3 months. And I'm not too sure whether at the castle they grow maize or harvest cocoa. Also, I want to just assure our party people and numerous Ghanaians, the teeming supporters of the NPP, that look, we are very confident in our court case. The Supreme Court judges themselves, they are feeling the heat in the country. The performance of the NDC in government is just symptomatic of their character. So nobody should be dismayed or dispirited. But I can assure them that all these people that you see them here today, they will not be around in December.
The Egyptians you see today?
Oh, the Egyptians you see today, you see them no more in December.
Okay.
Because in December, at least Ghanaians will have the opportunity to experience a government that will think about their healthcare, the education, jobs, and at least not, embark on the vulgar display of opulence as we've seen it happening.
Thank you very much. Kamal, thank you for patiently waiting on the line. Are you still there?
Yeah. Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Chief. How are you?
Good evening to you and then your in the political panels in the studio there. Yeah,
okay.
But Nana, I'm calling from Bolga, the Upper East region.
Okay.
You see, Nana, with regards to this trend that we're having today, you see, when you look at this Gaman mantra, something that has to do with no fear. John Dramani Mahama, the NDC president, will attribute this to what? SADA. Let me tell you something, Nana. Can you remember John Dramani Mahama stood in Tamale? It was one anniversary like that. It made an indication that they have sent combined harvested to almost all the territories this year, even including Upper East region here. Nana, when you go there, when you move in there correctly, there is nothing like even combined harvested in front of Agri office in Upper East region here.
Okay.
The same thing happened. He went to a Wulu Millennium Development Project, my hometown, under well there. What did he say? That project was under what? SADA. So what kind of place are we having today?
Okay.
Under the same guy again, Bogatanga Post, Kolan under his regime, meat factory in Bogatanga, Kolan under John Dramani Mahama regime, rice mill in Bogatanga here.
Kamal, thank you very much. But for lack of time, I would have to move on to Inusa. Inusa, welcome.
Thank you very much, Nana.
Okay, let's make it brief.
Good evening to you gentlemen there. Thank you. Yeah, it's good we are seeing this crisis in this country. There is a saying that something, if it's not for you, and you by forcefully take it, this is the result that you will see. Strikes here, water shortage, do so here. You see, no wonder the president can organize pastors that they should go to Israel and pray.
Okay.
Because he himself has seen, yes, that he is not in the right direction by leading this country. Because we were in this country when Owusu Bimpa came out and prophesied.
Okay.
But yet, some people came out and condemned this man.
Thank you very much, but I'm very short of time, and so I have to move on to the next caller. Hello?
Hello, Nana.
Chief, welcome.
Thank you.
You have the floor. Please make it
Nana,
brief for me.
I'm becoming amazed and surprised in what is going on in Ghana here. How can we have misplaced priorities in Ghana? This guy said the money is 2 million. Mesha Prebata, you are saying the money is 600 million. What kind of governance is this? So now, do we have omnipresent God or omni-Israel God? Is that what we have in Ghana?
Very interesting
now
quotation from you.
Omni-Israel God. Oh my God.
Okay.
Ghanaians are suffering.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Frank, are you there?
Yeah.
Chief, let's go.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let's make it brief.
Please, I thank you. But my regards to Cabo and then Samia Oku. The government of the day is not performing at all. I'm just wondering how we can even think of sending pastors to Israel. Are they saying that Ghana is so corrupt now that we cannot pray in Ghana so that our God will listen to us? Did Kufuor go to Israel before he got all those wisdom that he got to work the economy? They should go back to their drawing board, sit down, learn from Nana, Nanado and then Baumia for this country to move on.
Thank you very much for that. Wanam from Tamale. Wanam.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Wanam. calling
Yes,
from Tamale.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I think the issue of NDC short administration is very, very bad. Look at the money that they have spent, Massa. Look at the rain disaster in northern region here. Ushagu, Yendi, just recently, Tamale here, Nyashagu. People are sleeping at the school classrooms.
Okay, let's wrap up.
And then NADMO come out and saying that they don't have common one bowl of maize to support these people. People are suffering. And then NDC are chopping our money nyafu, like Massa.
Okay. Admoda.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Chief. Let's make it brief.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to make it brief. When you have this president, everything will be like this. That is the cause of everything. If you don't have if something does not belong to you legitimately and you take it forcibly or illegally, this is the kind of mess you always experience. But it's unfortunate that Ghanaians and particularly Northerners think that this particular John Dramani Mama can save us. Meanwhile, he's the one who is even killing Northerners. Look at the disasters that are looming in Northern Ghana.
Okay.
Meanwhile, people is telling us that there is no fund.
Thank you very much. Masaud from Techiman, how are you doing?
Good evening, Nana.
Yeah, good evening to you. Chief, let's make it brief.
Great, my great friend Kabu, El Masaud from Techiman is greeting him. Nana.
Yes, sir.
The credibility of NDC and your mama must be put into question. Nana, why did I say that? If you come to Techiman today, people are crying. Ghanaians are crying, especially pregnant women. Yesterday, 2 women died in Holy Family. They went there and they told them that they should bring money. And this woman too, she came from a village called Babato. Before this woman will send somebody to Babato and that fellow to bring money to the Holy Family, the woman has died. So when we came there and we were asking the woman relative, they were crying, telling us that they swear that this land that they have voted for MPP, that they stole their vote, but they know that this thing will happen. Now, how can NDC talk about one-time premium? Where is the one-time premium? And today you are collapsing national health insurance of Kufuor and MPP regime. What?
Thank you very much. Paul, are you there?
I'm there.
Okay, can we speak? Hello, Paul, you have the floor.
Yeah. Mpacho
Mate, make it very brief.
Okay. Mecha atifuina. Ne me kana mese. Me de papa we ye friend President John Mahama we digana for him. That cannot. Me say apa isi. Na na me ko sirim pa na mo me kasa temala bonche so sabi ni pe jo mo na ofom temala bonche so wo fata male man temwa na zo be ke toileting temala bonche na wo tum ko me konti to se abuga pele hodia sabi ni pe ne pe ko didi ni bisa wo se ti sai ni pe we no nti wo to aba ma hwan na o man panyi ku fo be bo mai kama MPP na mo jai ko friend this man mani hunu obi e ti Ghana ha me ya ko ni se Israel na me se wo so me zim se wo so nyen na ni bia ba ni ze me zim wa sa ti na NDC force se ni pe free Ghana ha. Okay. I
think that your point has very well been made. We thank you all for the very elucidating contributions that you've made to the program. I'll come back to the in-house studios. Cabo, under 1 minute.
Well, all I want to say is that the people of this country must rise up against an incompetent, ineffective administration. Mahama handed over to himself. He handed over the problems to himself as a result of his own leadership. As Samia Wuku intimated, he was in charge when Mills was alive, and in Mills' demise, he took over. So there must be no reason why we shouldn't have the so-called Better Ghana agenda. When we are having this water crisis, fuel shortages, and all of those issues, gas, and NHIS, educational system, cost of living, all these cacophony of issues must be placed at the doorstep of the president. And we only pray and ask our party people, 1 week has been given to us by the courts. Very soon we'll be in the courts, and I'm very sure the battle will be won for us by the Lord, and let's keep praying and protect our leaders. All those planning, all other accidents and appraisal attacks on members of the party, we are being protected by the blood of Christ. We will not go to Jerusalem to pray. We'll stay right here in Ghana. go on our bed and our knees in our churches and pray to the Almighty God to protect our people. I believe that is what we'll stand for.
30 seconds.
The challenges we face today as a country are fearsome, and we need a serious government to help address these challenges. We cannot continue to pretend to be supporting and endorsing a government that has lost legitimacy and a government that has been a spectacular failure since 2009. I am convinced that the God of Ghana will surely ensure that the Ghanaian people get justice at the law court. The reason why Mahama is facing all these challenges, unsurmountable challenges, is quite simple. The thing is, he doesn't have the support of the people to rule. And that is why every turn and at every twist, he seems to be encountering problems. Okay. For me, the conclusion is simple. On this note, I want to support fully that demonstration next week, the May Coup demonstration by the AFAC people against the economic hardship. I think we need to even move on beyond the demonstration and ensure that the justices of the Supreme Court also do not unduly delay justice for the Ghanaian people.
Okay. Now, we live in a Ghana today where the president has told us that the economy is left to the bones. Perhaps he's trying to send people to Israel so they'll go and pray that the God of Ezekiel, who made Ezekiel prophesy to the dry bones for them to wake up, will once again repeat that miracle. On that note, my name is Nana Kofi Opondoma. Thank you very much for having paid attention to Minority Caucus. See you on Wednesday. Good night.